Hello and welcome to Round 2 Front 9 action of the 2024 Augusta Disc Golf Classic, presented by Culvers of Grovetown and the Augusta Disc Golf Association. Catch cam today we have Tommy Patterson. Drone footage courtesy of the Augusta Drone Pilots. And commentary team is Vern Weygandt and Jeremy Hughes. On the card today we have Harper Thompson from Brentwood, Tennessee. Jason Lynn from Beach Island, South Carolina. Ezra Goodwin from Sugar Hill, Georgia. And Noah Meintsma from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hole 1 is a par 3 317-foot shot that gives you two options. Either fire a forehand shot down the left-hand side or run at the sign on the right-hand side with the backhand. All right, here we are at Lake Olmstead. This is round 2 of the Augusta Classic. Starting off the Harper Thompson here.
Yeah, Harper Thompson had an absolutely phenomenal 11 under in round 1. Perfect shot.
Yeah, what a mash. Got Jason Lynn next.
Jason's another one of those Augusta guys that's just been around for a long time. Great player. National champion collegiate guy, too. Yeah, oh, yeah. Back when Augusta University had those dominant teams back in the 2010s.
Oh, wow.
A little bit wide on the forehand. Catches that magnolia tree.
Ezra Goodwin here next on the box. That seems like the typical right-hand backhand mistake on this hole.
Yeah, you're either going to hit that sign or you're going to turn it over and go over the wall. And I think with this wind that we have today, it's going to be tough for these guys to shoot well. And Noah giving another almost a little ace run on that one. I think you can hear the wind swirling. I mean, this is a near impossible putt for Jason. Unbelievable.
Wow.
What a putt. I mean, he's 60 feet away putting into a straight headwind. That was phenomenal.
I had the pleasure of filming Jason earlier this spring at the Earlwood Classic. I feel like Jason is, he's like, I think now he's like rated 998, 997, something like that. He's getting ready to pop off big time, I think.
You can see the wind just grabbed his putter and lifted it over the basket there. Now, if you're watching this video and you've never seen Lake Olmstead before, this is actually where Ken Climo won his 12th World Championships back in 2006. So a lot of these holes might look familiar to those of you who've been around for a while. Harper starting off hot with another birdie.
He's a machine. Yeah, through the joy of YouTube, most of those old tournaments are out there if you just look hard enough.
Noah Noah got that one to stay in. It looked like it wanted to jump out for a second there. Tough hole for Ezra. Hole 2. This is a par 4. It's a short par 4, but you've got this little OB area right here, and you're going to want to push it all the way back. Now, right before this tournament, there was a big tree that used to be an obstruction. That tree has since fallen over right before the tournament started, so this hole's a little bit easier now. You can try to attack for the eagle by going out over the road, but there's OB everywhere, so it's still a tricky little shot. Harper's going to pump the forehand out there and maybe get a little forward skip. Yep. So he'll have probably about 80 feet from there.
Yeah, that backhand over the road just seems like a roll of the dice.
It is. You have power lines, you have poles, there's trees, and then you've got to get over that rock wall. Otherwise, you're going to be OB. This one is leaking left. It's going to have to get down quick. Oh, Jason's just going for the layup. It's a smart play because he can still chip up and get the birdie pretty easily from there.
Yeah, just watching these guys on this weekend, it feels like if you get that up shot, that up tee shot to the left-hand side enough that you can get around that brick wall.
Wow. Once the wind grabbed that disc, it had no chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to try that shot, you really got to get it out and get it down quick and kind of spike it right in the middle. And Ezra wants no part of it either. You can see the drop zone right there in front of where Jason's standing. Looks like he's going to try maybe a little flex forehand out around these poles. Smart play.
Fight. Oh, yes.
Yeah, it turned out all right.
You can see the difficulty that you're going to see on this course on every hole is it's very narrow. And so the goal is you want to keep your disc in bounds, and you want to avoid, that mistake right there. He'll be able to play his shot from where it went out, but unfortunately that's going to not help his score any. The wall helped him a little, didn't it? Harper's second shot here, and just looks like he's just kind of laying it up. He didn't really feel comfortable with running that one. There's kind of OB all around this basket. And Jason's going to have a shot at getting 2 birdies in a row here.
Yeah, there's constant distractions, it seems like, at this green.
Yeah, you've got a road, you've got a parking lot. It's kind of your standard park course. Noah's going to take his relief from the OB wall. One of the things that makes this course difficult is just, like I said, the OB being so tight on all these holes. Here you have a par 4 that's only 440 feet, and these guys are just taking pars because the OB and the wind is just so brutal. Another birdie for Harper.
Man, this guy just keeps on going. Hole 3, par 3, 362-foot shot. Just got to beat these trees. That's the main goal here.
Yeah, beat the trees and try not to roll down the hill too far.
I don't know who that is walking the fairway right now.
Looks like we have a little bit of a random walker through the fairway.
The joys of having a disc golf tournament at a public park course.
Yep. It's a little difficult to tell from the camera, but this is a really, really downhill shot here. So, you know, a good stable putter or maybe a mid-range is the shot you want to throw here. It's not going to be too bad. He's a little bit to the right. But if you start throwing fairways and things like that, you'll tend to get a big flare and kind of skip to the left really hard, and you don't want to do that here.
Yeah, the further left you go, the more downhill it is, right?
Yep. He got through the first set of trees, but he's still going to have about 80 feet worth of putt left there.
It's an interesting gap to get through here too, off the trees or off the tee.
Mm-hmm. Noah had no problem with it, though.
Yeah.
It's probably the closest shot of the day on that hole. Decent shot from Ezra as well. He'll have a nice little circle's edge putt.
Mm-hmm.
What a putt.
Wow. Yeah, man, Jason's got the goods.
Yeah, he's got the advantage of having played this course many, many times. But he's nailed 2 putts in circle 2 right now that have just been phenomenal. And Harper was not leaving anything on the course on that one. He was going for it. Yeah, Jason's a great player. He was individual national collegiate champion back in 2011, so the guy knows how to throw the Frisbee, that's for sure. Great birdie.
Mm-hmm. Just as a side note, I have to say that I approve of Ezra's wardrobe choices today. This is the Augusta Classic, so I hope people won't find any problem with me saying go dogs.
I think you'll find there are quite a few of them around here. Just look in the background, you can see the lake and look at the water just rippling with the wind right now. Good par.
Not the birdie he wanted, but still that was a solid putt.
Mm-hmm. Hole 4. Little tunnel shot. You've got a couple options here. You can kind of go down the middle where the drone footage is taking us right now, or you can go down the right side. backhand, forehand, whatever you want, but this is another hole where OB comes really close to the basket. So you're going to want to lay up a little bit short, kind of slide up to the basket, and really going to want to avoid those tree kicks because that road and that OB is really close.
I love the design of this hole, how it kind of has a pinch point that it goes all the way down there to the pin.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a tunnel, it funnels down there to where the basket's at. That's clever to me.
Jason kept it probably a little lower than he wanted, but he got some good ground play and he slid that thing up pretty close. Yeah, one of the difficulties of designing a course on a park like this is you really have to find really good shots, and you want to kind of design that shot very specifically to make it challenging yet fair. And Noah is shredding these lines all of a sudden today. It's a little high. Let's see if it misses the trees. Yeah, if you go back and look, Harper won his previous 3 A tiers leading up to this one. I mean, the kid has been playing some absolute fire disc golf, and he shows it right. He shows exactly why right there. Just piping it right down the middle, gives himself a nice little shot for birdie.
This is a side note for everyone. I think that, and Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but Harper's a mechanical engineering major at University of Tennessee. Is that correct?
Yeah, an engineer after my own heart. So it's good to see. And, you know, when you think of players like Calvin and even Isaac Robinson, you know, still going through with the college and doing all that work and then you know, playing disc golf at a high level. So that's really impressive.
Harper said when he graduates soon, within the next year or so, he's planning on taking a stab at this tour thing.
Come on, Jason.
Yeah, Jason had an opportunity there, kind of let that one slip. Well, I'll tell you, if Harper keeps playing the way he's playing this round and in the first round, he's got a bright free future ahead of him in disc golf.
Oh yeah.
He's just racking up the birdies.
Yeah, I think you can tell just by not only the way he putts, but the way he comes off the tee that he's got a very disciplined game. Yeah, he could be super dangerous in the years to come on tour.
Definitely.
Hole 5, par 3, 403-foot shot. This one's tricky. You've got lots of trees you have to navigate through, especially right off the tee. Then you get close to the basket. You're going to make certain you're right there on it.
A couple of shots you can throw here. I think, you know, a good straight mid-range or something that you can really get about 400 feet worth of distance and just pipe it straight. You've also got maybe like a little bit of something that flips up and kind of rides to the right a little bit. Kind of like what Noah just threw. It looks like he didn't quite get the Anheuser he wanted out of it. It kind of faded to the left, but it's not bad. He'll have about 70 feet up to the basket. A little obstructed, though.
This is one of these classic course design holes to where the tee pad's basically pointed right at a couple big trees. And so you have a choice to make. What are you going to do? How are you going to navigate this? And like you said, that left-hand side there is what you're faced with.
Mm-hmm. And once again, you have OB on the right, so... The forehand is an interesting shot here, and we've seen Harper's got a pretty good forehand. A little flip up on it, maybe? Well, that's a fantastic shot. He'll have about a 30-foot putt there, 35-foot. He really piped that thing down there. I'm impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Jason's probably going to throw something that looks like maybe a mid that was, or a small fairway that's going to have a little flip up on it. Oh boy. Yeah, he's not happy with that one. Great shot, Ezra.
Yeah, that was a good pull on that one.
Jason Lynn was also a former Augusta Classic champion, so he's got a title in his belt. Yep, great pitch up.
Oh, yeah. Do you feel like Jason's a forehand or a backhand dominant player, or he's a switch hitter easily?
He can certainly throw both, but I feel like he probably leans a little bit more toward the forehand in certain cases. I can tell you a story about Jason. We went to Idlewild a few years ago, and he was on the same card with Double G, and Double G teed off first, and looked like wind might have gotten to his head there a little bit. But Double G teed off first, and then Jason teed off right after. Well, Double G went a little bit to the right on hole 1 and hit a tree. Jason teed off with forehand, hole 1 at Idlewild, and went about 200 feet past where Double G hit the tree and kind of landed. And so I went up to Jason afterwards and said, "Man, you just absolutely outdrove Double G with that forehand, man." He kind of laughed. It was funny. He's definitely got a solid forehand.
I want to know the content.
Hole 6. Now this is sort of the epitome of a narrow hole right here. You've got OB on the left, you've got OB on the right. It's a tunnel shot, and the basket sits on a hill. So you just want to throw something straight, or maybe a little low forehand that kind of lands and skips toward the basket. But there's rollaway potential, there's OB potential, there's tree potential, and oh, by the way, the wind is blowing about 30 miles an hour right now.
Yeah.
That is a phenomenal shot from Noah. Absolutely what you want to do. Keep it low, keep it under the wind, slide it up there. Great shot.
Yeah, this is a pretty dastardly hole design. I mean, it's a small gap, and there's kind of not really a backhand option. Because if you throw something backhand and try to turn it over, you're going to burn into the hill and roll OB.
Yeah, you're not going to want to throw backhand in this wind. Stayed in bounds, so that's good. Goal number 1, make the gap. Goal number 2, stay in bounds. That's pretty much the name of the game here at Lake Olmstead. Great shot from Jason there. A little bit of a flex, brought it right back to the basket. Yeah, that's perfect. Man. He loves it.
Yeah, I wish I could borrow Jason's forehand just for like a few rounds here and there. That's amazing.
Now you see the problem with coming in too hard on that hill. That's what happens right there. You can get those rollaways real fast. Now unfortunate bogey there for Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Man, this guy just does not stop.
Couple of tap-in birdies from Jason and Noah.
And then won the hard way from Harper.
Yep.
Hole 7, par 3, 262-foot shot. You got a lake to your left-hand side. That's almost all you need to know about this. Be careful.
Yep, OB on every hole on this course. Stay away from those trees. There is a Mando on this hole as well, but probably not going to come into play for these guys. Noah left that one hanging out. Yeah. I'll tell you, the forehand is kind of a tricky shot on this hole because you want it to come back in, but you can't hit those trees and you can't hit the little cypress nubs on the edge of the lake, or you're going to go straight into the water. So, honestly, backhand is typically the better shot, but the forehand, if you can get it to come back in, it's just really hard to get it to come close to the basket. Of course, Harper's going to show us how to do it right there.
So what are these little things that are poking up out of the ground? Like stalactites, something like that?
I can't remember the name of it, but it's some kind of cypress knees or something like that. I can't remember.
Gotcha.
It's funny that you ask, though. Everyone always asks about those. Yep. That's the trick with the forehand, is just trying to get it to come back in without hitting those trees on this hole. But you've got OB on the right, you've got a Mando that you've got to stay to the left, so it's a tricky shot. That one's also pushing a little left. Looks like he stayed in, though.
Jason, you know that.
You know, certainly one of the toughest park courses you're going to see. I mean, I was just thinking about what you said about the fact that there's danger and so much OB on every hole.
And then when you throw in the wind factor, that certainly just affected that putt. Yeah, you don't really see parks courses like this very often anymore, especially as narrow as these holes are. But it's not a long course, but boy, is it challenging.
Mm-hmm.
If these guys can come with this weather today and they can shoot an 8 or a 9 or even a 10 down today, I think that would be extremely a solid round. Hole 8. This is a par 4, but it is not an easy par 4. This is one of the hardest holes of the tournament, coming in at the 17th easiest, if you will. Basically, you want to pipe it through here, kind of land somewhere in this area, and then you can either go over the road and kind of land under this magnolia tree or go straight at it with a putter. Basically, everything depends on having a really good first shot and getting it past this big bushy tree on the left.
Don't. Don't.
That's not a bad placement from there. He'll be able to have a choice of going out over the road and with a little hyzer if he wants. And then Jason with that forehand again.
Oh my God.
Right there next to Harper.
You were perfect.
Yeah, this is a tough one. It's hard to even really dissect this hole into something that's manageable, because you wanna try to gun something to get a little bit of distance off the tee, but man, if you go at it too hard, you're in a world of hurt, either on the high side or the low side.
Kind of all in about the same spot here. Got to give a shout out to my boy Matt Shank. He throws a roller on this hole, and it's one of the most beautiful things you'll ever see.
Wow.
Wouldn't recommend it in this wind, though.
How common is a go to the right out over the road shot?
Well, when you land off to the right, like these guys are, it's very common. As long as there's no cars parked there, it's a pretty common thing. This is where you end up with some problems when you kind of come in on edge and roll down into that path. But these guys are kind of aiming for the top of that magnolia tree. They know where the basket's at, and so you can either kind of try and hit that magnolia and just have it drop, or just kind of slide it up. That's kind of from where these guys are at. I think the forehand's the best shot, though.
It just sits.
Yeah, that's what it's always.
Yeah, it looks like Jason's got a pretty good forehand line here. Oh yeah, great shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one of those holes where you're talking about the unexpected elevation changes in Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
This hole itself has plenty of up and down all over it.
Ezra's been struggling with that putter so far this round. Sometimes a little tough to get started, especially when you've got all the wind and the pressure of being on camera. Oh, wow. Yeah, unfortunately, we've all had to make that walk before.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. That one's solid. Yeah, it can't be easy either, because Noah and Jason Harper, they are canning tons of birdies here.
Yeah. It can certainly go both ways. Sometimes when you're on that card and everybody's vibing and just the scores are great, but sometimes you're on that same card and boy, you're just frustrated because you don't know why you're not getting the same breaks and the same putts. And sometimes it's just a matter of the wind gusting at the wrong time, and that's how disc golf can be sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But Harper is just draining birdies like they're going out of style right now.
Yeah, his putting routine doesn't change. Doesn't matter if he's 5 foot or 55 feet from the basket. Super solid. Hole 9, par 3, 305-foot shot. This is one of my favorite ones at Lako. You want to hang it out to the left-hand side and let it drift back towards the basket. A solid forehand or a lovely backhand turnover, either of them will do just fine.
Yeah, this is one of the easier holes on the course for these guys. But once again, you know, you have OB within 30 feet of the basket on the right and long. And this is the most common play I see from guys with big forehands. Just take it out right around that power pole and spike it right next to the basket. It's a lot easier to control than the backhand flip up or a mid-range, especially in this wind when you can't really get that disc to come back and finish under the basket, and instead it leaks out of bounds. Looks like Jason didn't get enough hyzer on this one, but just a little bit outside.
Yeah, the shame of that one is it landed in and then it popped out. That's super unfortunate.
Right. Noah just with the smooth forehand, flicking it right out there and getting himself a 20-foot putt.
Yeah.
Now here's that backhand. You want to trust it to flip and go straight a little bit, but you don't want to bend it over too much where it goes out of bounds. So Ezra will have a circle's edge putt. Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. I talked to Noah after round 1, and I said, you know, man, hey, I'm glad you came into town, and I hope you're going to have a good time. And he said, oh, man, I'm looking forward to it because he's staying with his buddy, and his buddy is barbecuing all week, and he had a brisket on the smoker, and he said, as soon as I go home, I'm going to get some brisket. So
man.
he had a great time this weekend, I'm sure.
So it's win-win for him.
Wow. I mean, I tell you what, Jason Lynn's Circle 2 putting is better than his Circle 1 putting this round. Unbelievable.
That's ridiculous. What an unhuman putt.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's got his head down, but he should be proud of that one. That was a great comeback. He's still fighting.
Another solid one from Noah.
Yep. And once again, looks like Harper's going to get another birdie. Wow, he is just absolutely on fire this tournament.
Mm-hmm. All right, after the front nine of round 2, we've got Harper shooting 6 down thus far. It's sitting at 17. Jason, Lynn, and Lance Brown are at 14. Noah Meintsma at 13. Grady Shue is 7 down through 9, so we can't sleep on him. He's on the chase card right now. See you on the back 9.